for the individuals out there that have a brain. All right, we're just going, since we're at Thanksgiving and there's a bunch of families together and everybody talks about how smart everybody is and what positions that they have and all that. And then you run into somebody like me, because I've told you the world you're in is not real. Do you see this red brick right here? Do you see that? All right, this is magnetic brick right here, this block. Now, some of you might say, well, of course, there's iron in the old bricks block. And it's like, okay, but if this was brand new, it would be a lot more resembling your blood, so to speak. Okay, because each one of these red bricks, and there's many different ways. Through the 1800s, they started, cutting certain technology out because these represent your blood cells. These do right here. Okay, long story short. Okay, your blood cells, believe it, what is your blood? It's iron. It's literally your soul is in your blood. Okay, and we would build structures based off of the anatomy. Okay, but in your world, that anatomy is nothing. In our world, we don't come from monkeys. Okay, that's not real. That's such a mockery. It is. So what we did was we would build structures. There's brick around here stamped with Tennessee, Georgia, that are magnetic like this. But you got to go further back. And once you understand, which your simple mind, your clever mind, listen to me, the answers that you think you're going to go find are going to be lies, because you've been conditioned to get an answer. It's in Google land. Nope, that's idiocy. Yeah, that's our whole point. Y'all can't even put the screens down long enough and step outside and go, let me fucking think about some shit. And do that every day for a long time. Cut that shit out. Don't allow any impulses into your anatomy, your eyes, your ears, other than what's outside. And none of y'all have that in you. But that's neither here nor there. This video is about this. So if blood cells generate, we're going to use a dumb word, electricity, because that's what it is. You're a battery. What do they tell you in the Matrix? The human anatomy produces as much as a battery. I can't remember what they said. But a 12-volt battery has to do with the 12 cranial nerves. Yeah, because this whole system is a huge electrical component, and it is. And the way this runs right here is the way that we would build structures. So when you would build a structure out of a shit ton of block like this, that's magnetic, okay? See, this is where it gets into what you've been given as far as math and mathematics and fucking developing and what the fuck ever it is, it's not real. That's a whole new system in a man-made design to control by certain individuals. This shit right here is knowledge from up there and from our true God. This is. So the structures that we built mimicked the blood cells. So when you knew the elements, we've told you the sun and the moon is positive and negative. That's what runs you. Your pineal gland and your pituitary gland. The yellow substance is a positive, yellow-like substance, golden. The pituitary is white-like, milk-like substance. Should be positive and negative underneath the hood of your car. The invention of the battery comes from you. That's your pineal and your pituitary gland. Okay? When it comes out of the claustrum, this secretion, there's a secretion in the claustrum. Okay? That's a secret. All right, but you don't know about it. And then when that secretion comes out of the claustrum, which is a what? It's a cloister. And then what is a cloister? It's a closet. So in a closet, there's a house in the brain. The cerebrum is the attic brain. The cerebellum is the stellar brain. Claustrum is the closet, because you keep secrets in the closet. Well, usually the laboratory of the brain refines that fluid, and when it comes out, one part goes in pineal and then pituitary. And then they take on the yellow and the white-like substance that you know of in your medical industry. And then as it comes out of there, it crosses. Those two cross at the base of the skull, Golgotha. So what happens when two currents cross? If you're a battery, you should know it lights the whole house like Scripture. See, it's very important. And truthfully, the brain is nothing but just the end result of the spinal cord. The bones in the back of the skull are vertebrae as well. See, our knowledge is not knowledge. It's knowing who you are. And these people have done everything they can for generations to fuck y'all up. Big time. Let me get back to this. This right here is how we built shit. And then knowing the elements, gold and silver too. You know, the elevators, they used to use mercury to listen. You have no idea what's been kept from you. But once you combine certain elements and got it all set up, the structure within would stay the same temperature, however it is that you designed it around the elements, and especially the red magnetic bricks that you can load out with iron. Silica is everywhere. That's what you're made of. And that's how we did that. And then when you throw in the antennas, as you know, it drew the ether, which is the air. So if we have these magnetic red blood cells stacked everywhere, all these little holes right here, what's it going to do? It's all tied together just like the anatomy. And it's all breathing once it becomes one body when it's built. This is one body. And when the air goes in here, okay, look, when I'm breathing in, the oil's going down my spinal cord. When I breathe out, the oil goes wham, it goes into the brain. And when all that shit's reduced, all your forces of what you eat and drink stays down here. And then it can't get out. It really can't. And so these toxic substances, you know, that stay in there, that's what shuts you down. I'll be nice. Because you know we can tear it apart in 5 seconds. That's not about that. It's about this. Now are you starting to understand some? See, when this shit right here is everywhere. This material is everywhere. It's everywhere. For free. Everywhere. In your world, it's like, no, it's not. Yes, it is. It's what it is. Look, I can get into the real comments and shit. And what that's doing is dropping shit here, like iron. Yeah, listen, that's a whole nother ball game. Listen, you don't understand. Then if you want me to get on the unseen side of it and get into Lucifer and shit like that, and how he can get on these fucking comments, yeah, and travel because he's imprisoned, in a sense. But y'all have been kept from that shit forever. It's real. But my whole point about this whole exercise is this. Okay? All right. I want you in your clever mind I want you to try to figure out that. How in the hell can they build a structure out of those elements out there like the human anatomy? But see, in this process, you'll find out that you're a battery. And then in this process, the laws that govern that battery, you've been disconnected. See, that's the fucking trap. You're either going to stay imprisoned within your subconscious or you're going to get out of it. Okay? Once you understand that this is gone, and what you have is only what you've ever known. And that's a perfect example of impulses from birth and not letting go. Because really fucking evil people have implanted some evil shit within your subconscious. Very young, and now it is worse generation to generation. You just don't know. So I know some of y'all might be a little fucked up, but it's like if you look into that, look into the temples from India. Okay, and there's certain ones. What you see in Russia with all those circled geometrical patterns, they're all going to have, they're decommissioned. But at one time they had more shit on them because they were drawing in the ether, the air. And it was a power plant, just fucking. And once you create generations away from, what you had because it's free, then nobody ever questions shit. Look, real quick, an antenna, just to show you. All right. Antenna, antlers, ants. Look, antlers, antenna, ants. Okay, so if we're going to look at an antenna, how does it get its power? Through the air. Okay, so an antlers, ants, horns, okay, the racks, ants, okay, any kind of insect. I'm just using how they literally put A-N-T on antenna. And those are the same antennas. See, the same way that the ether goes into the animals and gives them life is the same way it went into the antennas that we had before the world you're in, and it powered everything. And then they just take that away. They stay out there. If you were given animals, you would know, trust me. If you were given real animal education, insects and all that, and how they're more important than anything you could possibly ever imagine, and without them, humanity will it will be upside down within 20 years. Because of what they did for through the whole fucking 1900s. And here we are, and nobody can question anything. But the whole point is you got to understand the air. Okay, there's your lungs right there. Okay, real quick, when you breathe in, those inflate to 1 gallon of air, which runs the oil, like I said earlier, up to the brain, to the cerebrum, the RAM of God. RAM is where you store memory in your computer, and the RAM up there is your memory. The occipital lobe, which is, your sensorium organ. What you've been taught is for a business to make money, and ours, remember, is spirit. And the occipital lobe is imagination. So when children see billboards and everything, it grows into the cerebrum as a what? A false reality, psychologist. Very good. See, I'm giving you so much in less than 15 minutes. And I've been nice, destroying everything that you've been fucking taken up for. It's the truth. Your whole world is not real. Okay? And the biggest thing is there's no sense in fighting it, but there is sense in recognizing it. Okay? Because if you recognize it, then you take power over that, and then that goes with you to the other side, which is more important than you can fucking, all of you put together on earth. I didn't ask for this. Okay, remember, I was the one in those fucking places that they were shoving shit down, and I said, it doesn't work. None of those fucking pills work. And little did you know what happened. There's another plan, and it's not mine. So the only way you could understand that is to be literally to go through these last almost 11 years, not walking into one of them and literally learning why. And then it's like, fucking A, it's black magic. And people hate that. Why can't you be so free of everything to where y'all are so sensitive. That's because of the screens. They're crack black magic. You know, the whole thing is where we are, and we don't watch what you think. Commercials, TV, none of that shit goes in these eyes. Hasn't for a long time. So when shit happens, all we do is observe society. And it's a product of impulses that comes through screens. And then the reflex of the human beings, which is y'all, is to go buy all the shit out of stores. Fear and hope is how they control you. Through fear and hope. And truthfully, they don't need us anymore. So, I love you.